we have a very special guest joining us,
Mhm.
Aliiah Roza. How are you doing, ma'am?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. So we were talking about your background a little bit,
Mhm.
but being a member of the Russian military, correct? And tasked with coming over to the
Correct.
U.S. And can you talk a little bit about your work with what the Russian government was having you do?
So basically, just to explain, I was a bait. So I would infiltrate criminal gangs or targets in order to find out information or recruit them to do things what they need to do for the Russian government. So basically, I was using psychological kind of like seduction techniques, which are known as a sex spot or sex trafficking or it's honey trapping or sex espionage.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the headline that we are reading, female spies are waging sex warfare to steal Silicon Valley secrets. And it's so funny, like, I mean, it's like the oldest trick in the book, but it works, especially with men, and I'm sure you know that. I mean, sex works with men, right?
No, no, no. She likes me for my
Yes, that's correct.
personality and my mind.
But I mean yeah, and I'm sure that if you're in Silicon Valley, you have a bunch of startup companies
Hmm.
and
A lot of money.
yes, a lot of money and these are innovative companies.
Well, the most important, I would just add here quickly that those Silicon Valley tech people, CEOs, executives, they have no idea that behind these accounts may be a fake, a fake account which were created by male agent who is literally targeting these particular individuals to get information on special corporative secrets or some other information. So they have no idea because these fake accounts, they are experienced in manipulation, secret intelligent officers. And of course, when they pretend and create these fake accounts, usually it's beautiful ladies wearing bikinis, like very revealing photos and whatever. So of course, men who are constantly busy with work,
Mm.
who are very like they have lack of social skills, let's say. Of course, when they see this beautiful account, this beautiful lady online who is very nice, who is very sweet, who is supporting him morally and telling him how amazing he is, and then establishing this trust bond, of course, for him, he wouldn't even think about that behind this fake account is a male agent who is doing this in purpose. So, but this happens everywhere nowadays, and not only in Silicon Valley, but in the whole world, and not just from secret intelligence agencies. As you know, there's so many online scams
Mm.
where people have been
Hmm.
fraud, lose money or whatever, happening. So this is quite important to understand how the manipulation works, and that's basically what I'm trying to share, especially to men, to be very cautious with these beautiful online accounts.
Mm.
Aaliyah, if we could, real quick, I just want to get a little bit with your background, if we
Yeah.
can jump into that. But can you tell us where you're from in Russia and how you joined, obviously, with the military, and then how does the military approach you with, "I've got a job for you,
Yeah.
and here's what we need you to do." What was that like?
Yeah. Well, to begin with, I was born in USSR, right, in 1984. In 1991, USSR falls, so that former, KGB was reformed into FSB and SVR. And then my father, when I turned to 18 years old, he, for many years, over like 30 years, he was a high-ranking officer working in there. So he brought me into the department, which that time was sort of like DEA, which is the Department Investigating and Combating Against Human and Drug Trafficking. And my father, kind of like encouraged me and pushed me towards this path, my family path, because my grandfather was in military, my father was in military, my cousins and everybody in our family. So I joined the military when I was 18 years old, and when I came to the academy, apparently I was one of the chosen girls who would enroll to this special program, which is called like, which you basically name as well. It's a sex bot, honey trap, sex espionage. So that's a special program where where we've been learned how to seduce, how to persuade, how to influence our targets, and especially also how to use the sex techniques on our targets in order to make them to reveal any secrets or be committed or be obsessed with you. And then of course either it would be termination of the target, either it would be recruitment of the target. But anyway, it was it was all the setup, sort of like social engineering, the whole setup, where the target would never understand that he's literally in the manipulation game.
Hmm. Now, in that kind of learning period, were you learning, I don't know, American behavior
Mm.
too? Were you learning, what an American guy likes? Were you learning, kind of like, were you also learning that as well to before you even got to America?
Well, I've never learned about American psychology.
Mm.
We've learned the type of basically human beings, right? So according to secret intelligence, there are like different types of female behavior, right? And male behavior. So basically, like there's certain types. Knowing the type of the person, you can find out their weaknesses, their desires, they kind of like personalities, and then you can adapt your behavior towards this person, right? So we've learned that. I've honestly never learned about American
Mm.
psychology.
Wow.
And yes, so but I love Americans and I love being in this country. This country gave me the freedom. I finally got out of this trap, being under the kind of like Russian government. And I feel much secure being here, and I'm very grateful for this country to give me the home. So that's why I'm kind of like revealing about who I am, what I've done before, what's my identity, how to prevent manipulation, and especially from uh, secret agents from Russia and from China, or whatever secret intelligence it could be.
No, that's really inspiring, I think too. But can you talk about your experience when you did come over to the U.S.? What was your mission? What were you tasked with? And I know that in 2006 the feelings kind of got real a little bit. If you could talk about that with the subject of who you were looking at.
Yes, you mean like the Vladimir mission?
Yes, that'd be great.
Yes. So the Vladimir actually mission was my last one. He was a very big drug lord. Together with his, drug dealers and criminal group, he would bring from Afghanistan, tons of heroin. And that time, they were established like different drug enforcement departments, like FSKN, for example, who was working particular on combating the drug trafficking. So I was in there, and my mission was to infiltrate and, that time establish relationships, like long-term relationships with the target, in order to get information about future supplies, and then pass this information to my commander, to my team, and then the team, sort of like American SWAT, would come and arrest drug dealers, whoever would be there, and also confiscate drugs. So that was my main job. But things got really into kind of like unpredictable way, where we find out that my main commander was actually corrupted, and he sent me to this mission without me knowing it. uh, he sent me there to kind of like set up Vladimir in order to remove him from the cartel and point his own protege. And then eventually he gave up my name, that I was a mole. I had
Mm.
yes, I had really the most probably dangerous part of my life, where I thought like I would be killed.
Mm.
But so that's this Vladimir, who was my target, who eventually, after certain like months, fell in love. He helped me to escape, knowing that he probably would be killed by his own criminal brothers, which happened after. And I actually shared all my life story in the podcast To Die For, which was released just like a year ago, and it got top 6 in the world. It was like really fascinating to read all these messages, and people would come to me and said this was inspiring. So I share basically all my life there, and I know that I did make like kind of like a short introduction, but if you would like to listen to it, you can like go and dig into there, because it's 17 episodes of the whole story of the Russian
Let
operations.
it all out. Can you
Yeah.
talk about real quick? I mean, you spoke about those few hours where you knew that your boss threw you to the wolves, and you're with some very dangerous people. But what's that like mentally to go through that, where you feel like any moment the shoe's going to drop, and you still got to put out that image, like you don't know what's going on. You are who you say you are, and to try to protect your cover. How do you do that mentally and play that act?
Well, thank you so much for this question. And I would say, honestly, it takes me still 17 years of the therapy.
Hmm.
Yes, a lot of money, a lot of tears, a lot of, PTSD. But that's why I can share with you right now the whole story. And I feel like I'm strong enough to do that, because for many, many years, I lived in a victim mentality. I lived in fears. I was hiding myself. I was completely lost and broken. And I would say, if you are experiencing any PTSD or like negative memories and emotions, I really recommend to go and, speak with a therapist, because this really helps, and it does help me as well, very much so.
Aliiah just went to go step into her office real quick.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be with us in just a moment.
Yep.
So we'll continue that conversation. And man, what an inspiring story too.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
really
about you, but that woman has guts.
Yeah, she
You know?
does. So yeah, if you're just joining us, Aliiah Roza, so she is a former Russian sex spy, and she is like spilling absolutely everything. And she joined the Russian military, and she was identified as someone who could basically infiltrate American Silicon Valley tech people.
Yeah.
And
Well, and some of the most dangerous people in the world too. She was talking about
correct.
the drug cartels and the
Correct.
different trafficking operations.
Absolutely.
I mean, my God, these people inflict some serious violence.
Yes, and she lived to tell about it, and she's now living here in America and kind of sharing the details about what she went through. This is like, obviously you're seeing her life or photos.
I mean,
she's stunning.
you look at some of these photos too, you're just like, good luck.
I
buddy.
know, seriously. I mean, it is amazing that she's
Yeah.
still alive. And so her father was in the military, and then he kind of said, you should join the military. And then she was identified as someone who could kind of do this, basically. But you saw this article in the New York Post. That is what drew your attention to this. And the headline that we read was that female spies are waging sex warfare to steal Silicon Valley secrets. And it's not just Russia, but it's also China.
Yeah, right here, the theft
can-
of trade secrets is estimated to cost the American taxpayer up to $600 billion a year, with China identified as the principal source of the loss.
Yeah, and
Wow.
the quote is, "It is the Wild West out there." And she was saying that you have these guys who are, doing startup companies. They're really busy. They're not maybe, I don't know, their
The
radar.
most social creatures, you'd say?
You said it. They're not the most social
Faces
creatures.
only a mother could love?
Listen, Ellen, you either start a company or you talk to girls. You can't do both.
Yes.
And maybe their social skills are not that great, so they see a red hot lady in a bikini. That's
not the
what
most
she
sexiest
said.
line. You should see my crypto
Yes,
portfolio.
and
Would you like me to whip it out?
Yes. And they have no, sensibility. And
Yeah.
so they see this chick in a bikini, and they don't know that she's a spy from Russia or China.
When the other women are saying "Das Vidanya," she's saying "Hello, nice to meet you. You have a charming personality."
Can you give us all your secrets and tell us what you're going to be doing for America?
Exactly.
And they're like, sure, absolutely.
Aliiah, I think you're back with us.
Yeah.
There you are. Wow.
It's
Wow.
hilarious conversation. I'm just like, I just adore you guys, especially like, oh, this girl in bikini, let me give you all the secrets of
Yeah,
the state.
I know.
Well, I have to ask real quick if we could. So, if you don't mind, just
Yes,
talking a little
absolutely.
bit with the icebreakers, but say I'm a gentleman of the persuasion where I have something that the Russian government wants, the Chinese government wants. What is the line that you would say to me as an icebreaker if I'm there, let's say at a soiree in Silicon Valley, you know, with my other tech bros? We're talking about NFTs and other worthless things you would think, but then I'm talking about my crypto account, my billionaire status, my yacht maybe. But how would you approach me and come over to try to, you know, get that in?
Okay, so see, you just mentioned that your interests are in crypto, right? In NFTs. So I would target that information before through internet, social media, through our mutual connections, our mutual friends. And I would come across not like as this, just a girl who is, just want to date you or whatever. I would come across like professional. I would say, oh, hey, how are you? Have you been at this NFT conference? Or are you going to this crypto event, which is happening somewhere, blah, blah, blah? Like, I don't know, like 20th of November. You would say, oh, I haven't heard about it. And I would say, well, I can take you as a +1 because I know this and this guy in this crypto world. They're very fascinating. They build these startups from the zero, and now the company worth like 2 billion. Would you like me to introduce you?
Wow.
So they've already done their homework. I mean, they're a
Yeah.
spy. They're a spy, so they've already done the homework.
Find the mutual interest there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and if you're
exactly. Find the
attractive,
mutual interest, exactly,
yeah.
And the guys they want,
but also smart.
right? A woman with the brain. That's exactly what I was going to say. Who knows the topic, who has the interest, and that's important.
Yes, because look, your interest, you just mentioned it, crypto NFT, right? If I will bring you on board, not just my physical appearance, but also my brain and also some conversation you're interested in, most likely you would say yes to me and you'll go with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. So how did it go from you, you survived that horrible, situation. And then how did it go from that to now you're able to live in America and you're able to talk about this?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, it's all because honestly, America gave me the freedom and protected me. Otherwise, honestly, I don't know, guys, where I would be, what would I do? Probably I would be lost somewhere in Russia, and who knows what would happen to me. And also, I have an underage son, and I'm a single mom, so it's another story. His father was killed actually, so when he was 1 year old. So it's another story, which is another, I guess, like
Mm,
movie or episode, the
Yeah.
podcast season, which we'll
mm,
probably do. But coming back to the point, so um, so after Russia, right, I moved to Greece, Switzerland. I lived a little bit in Italy, like about a year, in France about a year, and then 6 years in London, right?
mm,
So I had a few missions in England. I cannot tell you names, unfortunately, because they're very quite famous
mm,
people and quite big names. So I mean, like they're not criminals, but they were like my sort of small missions for the government, just to spy, absorb, and just to see what they're doing and basically what's happening with the money they stole from Russian government. It's a lot of like Russian oligarchs over there. So what happened eventually, I got connected with um, uh, some parts of the royal British family. That year, 2019, literally in a few months, my lawyer called me and he said, well, I received this notice as your immigration lawyer. You have to leave the country like ASAP.
mm,
And we still don't know why, but he kind of told me probably because of your background.
mm,
So the only one visa I had that time was tourist visa, only one, American visa. So I came here, right, beginning of 2020. Then
literally in a few months, I mean, just literally in 1 month, COVID happens, then Ukrainian war happens. I'm kind of like stuck with my son in America because we cannot travel anywhere. Then before that, I start this kind of like migration process with different lawyers, taking interviews with them and asking their opinion of what should I do. And 5 of them told me, listen, if you want to stay in this country legally, first of all, you have to reveal your identity, number 1. Number 2, it kind of like I kind of like shot 2 birds in one. Oh no, I killed two birds in one shot, right? They say, where the Ukrainian who are actually kind of like, because it happened like in this devastating way, the Russian government were collecting all the assets, all the spies, all the agents abroad, not abroad. Everybody were coming back to Russia. I
Oh.
obviously didn't want to go back. So when I started to reveal about my identity, about my opinion that I'm against the war and everything, it actually
Oh,
me from the Russian government, and I became more, you know, because I revealed completely like my identity. So I'm no longer interesting assets for the Russian government.
can I ask you real quick, Aliiah, too, with the brutality of Vladimir Putin and the Russian government and how they don't forget their enemies. And they really have had documented cases where they go to no bounds to find people that they consider enemies of the state and kill them in really horrific ways. Do you have that same fear for yourself and for your family in America?
Right. So this is a very important question, and thank you again for asking, because of course we all have, you know, these fears, and I do as well. But the point is that I look at mistakes some other agents, former agents did. For example, Litvinenko, right? Litvinenko was killed in I think 2010 in London by poisoning. After revealing and releasing the book where he basically wrote and everything was published, you know, all the numbers and statistics, and he was exposing Vladimir Putin and so on. I'm not doing that. I'm not exposing Vladimir Putin. I'm not revealing any secret information or whatever. I'm simply here passing knowledges and insight which I learned in this, you know, secret intelligence academy. But these knowledges are good for people because they can learn, for example, how to prevent manipulation or how to be confident, how to be like the best version of themselves. Whereas I never actually revealed any secret information about like, you know, weapons or like the military situation in Russia. And I would never do it because, of course, I don't want to risk my life, right? I want to, you know, raise my son and so on. So I'm not doing that. And that's why I don't go into politics. Whatever I do, I'm coaching women, I'm a public speaker, you know, I'm writing books. So it's completely different, you know, path and completely different job. And there's so many former CIA and FBI agents who also became like writers eventually after their career, and they became public speakers. So I'm more in entertainment rather than into this political stuff, because I understand this is really risky for me.
Well, it is fascinating. We are wrapping up our interview here with you, but where can people find you? Are you on Instagram? Are you, you know, do you have a book? Where can people find you?
To Die For podcast,
if they
too,
want to
how they
learn
can find
more,
that.
if they want to learn more about you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, people can find me anywhere. My Instagram, Aliiah Roza with Z, or like my website, rosaclub.com, where I share these like spy techniques. So yeah, I'm just doing this because I believe that power should not be hidden. You know, knowledge should not be hidden. And as more skills we know, as more professional, as more confident, as better we become.
Yeah. Well, it's
Wow.
fascinating. I want to have you on my other show. So I hope that you'll come on my other show. I would love to talk to you more. Yeah, I love it. Thanks.
Amazing human being. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Roza.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So much.
Been a
Have a
pleasure.
good day. Thank you.
Well, what a show.
I need like a cigarette now.
I know, exactly. Let's do it.
I don't even smoke either.
Well, we do now.